A very good morning to you. Objective Geology, multiple choice questions with answers. This is the solved question paper of Andhra Pradesh Research Common Entrance Test 2024 question paper. And I hope this solved question paper is useful for various competitive exams like CSR, NET, GATE, GSI and other competitive exams. Welcome to set 2. Coming to the first question. The fault in which the hanging wall has gone down relative to the footwall is known as A. Normal fault, B. Reverse fault, C. Transcurrent fault, and D. Strike slip fault. So the correct option goes as normal fault. A normal fault, it is defined by the hanging wall moving down relative to the footwall. So this type of fault, it is caused by external stress which stretches the Earth's crust. So the fault in which the hanging wall has gone down relative to the footwall is known as normal fault. A is the best option. Next question. The fold which is convex upwards is called what type of fold? A. Syncline, B. Recumbent, C. Synform, D. Antiform. The correct option goes as D. Antiform. A general term for a fold which is convex upward regardless of the age of the rock layers is known as antiform. D is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following show the effect of tensional forces? The options given are 1. Columnar joints, 2. Mud cracks, 3. Cross joints, 4. Bedding joints. The options are A. 1 and 2 only, B. 1 and 3 only, C. 1, 2 and 3 only, and D. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct option goes as C. 1, 2 and 3 only. So the columnar joints, mud cracks and cross joints, they show the effect of tensional forces. So that's why C is the correct option. Next question. The fold having angular hinge is known as? The options given are A. Tight fold, B. Chevron fold, C. Parallel fold, D. Similar fold. The correct option goes as B. Chevron fold. A fold with an angular hinge is known as a chevron fold. And these folds are characterized by sharp angular hinges, and these are straight and they have planar limbs, unlike the more gently curved hinges which are found in some other types of folds. So the fold having angular hinge is known as chevron fold. B is the correct option. Next question. The ratio of the shearing stress to the shearing strain is A. Poisson's ratio, B. Incompressibility, C. Young's modulus, and D. Rigidity modulus. The correct option goes as D. Rigidity modulus. The ratio of the shearing stress to shearing strain, it is called as the rigidity modulus. This is also known as the shear modulus. This value, it quantifies a material's resistance to shear deformation. So the ratio of the shearing stress to the shearing strain is called as rigidity modulus. D is the correct option. Next question. The branch of geophysics which deals with the seismic waves is called, very simple question, A. Seismology, B. Limnology, C. Palynology, and D. None of the above. The correct option goes as A. Seismology. Seismology is the scientific study of the earthquakes and the seismic waves they generate, encompassing their causes, effects, and how they travel through a planet. Next question. The upper shell of the earth up to 100 kilometers depth is called? The choices are A. Crust, B. Lithosphere, C. Biosphere, and D. Asthenosphere. So the correct option goes as B. Lithosphere. The rigid outermost shell of the earth extending to a depth of about 100 kilometers is called the lithosphere. It is made up of the earth's crust and the uppermost solid part of the mantle. Next question. Which is the point situated on the surface of the earth above the focus of an earthquake? The choices are A. Epicenter, B. Center of gravity, C. Focal point, and D. Stress location. The correct option goes as A. Epicenter. Epicenter, it is the point on the earth's surface directly above the focus or hypocenter, which is the point within the earth where the earthquake originates, and it is the location where the seismic waves are first felt, and these are often expressions the most intense shaking and damage. So epicenter is the point situated on the surface of the earth above the focus of the earthquake. Next question. Which is an example of seafloor spreading? A. San Marino Trench, B. San Andreas Fault, C. Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and D. Rocky and Andes Mountains. The correct option goes as C. Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, it is a prime example of a mid-oceanic ridge where seafloor spreading occurs. And as the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates pull apart, magma rises from the mantle to fill the gap, and it cools and solidifies to form a new oceanic crust. And this process pushes older seafloor away from the ridge, causing the Atlantic Ocean to widen over the time. So Mid-Atlantic Ridge is an example of seafloor spreading. C is the correct option. Next question. Tsunamis are developed due to 1. Submarine quakes, 2. Floods, 3. Volcanic eruptions within the oceans, and 4. Cyclones. The choices are A. 1 and 3 are correct, B. 1 and 2 are correct, C. 3 and 4 are correct, and D. All are correct. The correct option goes as A. 1 and 3 are correct. So tsunamis are developed due to submarine quakes and volcanic eruptions within the oceans. Next question. Which stratigraphic method is useful to establish basalts of ocean stratigraphy flow? The options are A. Biostratigraphy, B. Lithostratigraphy, C. Magnetostratigraphy, and D. Event stratigraphy. The correct option goes as C. Magnetostratigraphy. This is a very useful method for ocean basalts, and it involves measuring the remnant magnetism which is preserved in the rock at the time of the formation. Basalts record the Earth's magnetic field polarity at the time they have erupted and cooled. So by correlating the sequence of normal and reverse polarities in the basalt flows with the established global magnetic time scale, the age of the basalts can be determined. So magnetostratigraphy method, it is useful to establish the basalts of ocean stratigraphy flow. C is the correct option. Next question. Continental shelf is defined as A. The highest of the continent from mean sea level, B. The highest difference between two continents, and C. The zone around the continents from the low water mark seaward up to the continental slope, and D. The distance between the two continents. Continental shelf, it is defined as the zone around the continents from the low water mark seaward up to the continental slope. A continental shelf, it is the submerged, gently sloping extension of a continental landmass that lies under the ocean surface. So it extends from the coastline to the continental slope, which is a steeper drop-off point where the ocean floor descends to the deep ocean. And these areas are significant for being shallow, and these are biologically rich and potential sources of natural resources like oil and natural gas. So continental shelf is defined as the zone around the continents from the low water mark seaward up to the continental slope. Next question. Water masses are identified by, the choices are A. Temperature, salinity, nutrients and oxygen content, B. Temperature they possess, and C. Depth at which they occur, and D. The mass of water they possess. So water masses are identified by temperature, salinity, nutrients and oxygen content. Water masses are primarily identified and traced using the characteristic temperatures and salinity values, which are considered conservative properties because they only change through a mixing at ocean boundaries. And nutrients and oxygen are also found as the non-conservative traces to help determine a water mass history and age. So water masses are identified by temperature, salinity, nutrients, and oxygen content. A is the correct option. Next question. The force due to the rotation of the earth is A. Pressure gradient force, B. Fractional force, C. Gravity force, and D. Coriolis force. The force due to the rotation of the earth is Coriolis force. The Coriolis force is an apparent force which is caused by the earth's rotation that deflects the path of the moving objects. It causes a deflection to the right in the northern hemisphere and to left in the southern hemisphere, which affects large-scale phenomena like global wind patterns and ocean currents. So it is an apparent force because it is not a true physical force, but rather an effect of viewing motion from a rotating frame of the reference. The force due to the rotation of the earth is Coriolis force. D is the correct option. Next question. In the atmosphere, meteorologically, the most significant waves are A. Sound, B. Gravity, C. Rossby, and D. Electromagnetic. The correct option goes as C. Rossby. Rossby waves are considered the most meteorologically significant waves in the atmosphere due to their large scale and impact on weather patterns. These planetary waves are giant meanders in the high altitude jet stream that influences the transport of heat and cold air and the formation of high and low pressure systems, which are the key components of weather experienced in the middle latitudes. So in the atmosphere, meteorologically, the most significant waves are Rossby waves. Next question. The type of low frequency gravity wave trapped in a vertical boundary on the equator is called A. Shearing gravity, B. Kelvin wave, C. Rossby wave, and D. Internal wave. The correct option goes as B. Kelvin wave. A low frequency gravity wave trapped along the equator or a vertical boundary is called a Kelvin wave. It's a type of gravity wave that is influenced by Earth's rotation and moves along a boundary such as a coastline or the equator. Next question. The height of the Prandtl layer is A. 10 meters, B. 50 meters, C. 500 meters, and D. 1500 meters. The height of the Prandtl layer is around 50 meters. The height of the Prandtl layer or atmospheric surface layer is not a fixed value, but it is often approximated as being within the lowest 50 to 100 meters of the atmosphere. Next question. The layer in which ozone is present is called as, very simple question, A. Troposphere, B. Stratosphere, C. Mesosphere, and D. Exosphere. The layer in which the ozone is present is called stratosphere. Ozone is present in the stratosphere, which is the layer of the Earth's atmosphere, which is located above the troposphere. This region contains a high concentration of ozone, forming the ozone layer that absorbs most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation. Next question. In an inversion layer, A. Temperature decreases with height, B. Temperature increases with height, C. Temperature is 0, and D. Temperature is constant. In an inversion layer, temperature increases with height. This is the opposite of the normal atmospheric condition where temperature decreases as altitude increases. So this phenomenon, it creates a stable layer of warm air above cool air, which can trap pollutants near the ground. So in an inversion layer, temperature increases with height. Next question. The approximation where density variation is taken only in the pressure gradient term and not in the other terms is called A. Hydrostatic approximation, B. Geostrophic approximation, C. Boussinesq approximation, and D. Brunt-Väisälä approximation. The correct option goes as Boussinesq approximation. The approximation where density variation is taken into account only in the buoyancy or gravity term of the momentum equation and treated as a constant in all other terms like the inertial and the viscous terms. It is called as a Boussinesq approximation. This is commonly used for modeling natural convection and buoyancy driven flows where density differences are small. Hope you have followed the content and the questions. Hope you can share and subscribe to this Explore Geosciences. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.